Hello everyone. Today we will focus on zero and negative exponents. First, let's look at these exponents and try to recognize a pattern. If we have a to the first power, that means 8 itself. A to the second power is 8 is multiplied by itself twice. A to the third power, 3 eighths. A to the fourth power, 4 eighths multiplied together. Now, as we go higher on this pattern, each time we're going up, we are multiplying by 8. We are multiplying by 8. We are multiplying by 8. One more 8 each time. And each time when we multiply by one more 8, our exponent is increasing by one more, increasing by one more, increasing by one more. Now, we are going to follow the same pattern, this time backwards. Instead of multiplying by 8, each time we go down, we will be dividing by 8. Then you will have 1 less 8. If you divide by 8, you will have 1 less 8. If you divide by 8 again, you will have 1 less 8. And as we divide by 8, our exponent is also decreasing by 1. 4 to 3 and 2 and 1, our exponent is decreasing by 1. If we were to divide by 8 one more time, then 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1, where our exponent is going to decrease from 1 to 0. So 8 to the 0th power is equal to 1. From that, we can say any number to 0th power is equal to 1. If we were to continue this pattern, that gives us brings us to a new section here. If we were to continue dividing by 8, if you had 1, if you divide 1 by 8, then you will get 1/8. So the negative in front of the exponent caused us to have a reciprocal. If I divide by 1 more 8, then I will have 1 over 8 squared. If I divide by 1 more 8, then we will have 1 over 8 cubed. Now let's look at some of the properties. Here's our first rule, zero exponent rule. When a base is raised to the power of 0, then it's equivalent to 1. It doesn't matter what the base is, any base to the 0th power is going to be equal to 1. Our first example, negative 4 to the 0th power is 1. Next example, 2 to the 0th power is 1. Denominator didn't get affected by the exponent, so it stays as is. Here's a U-try for you. And please remember to apply power to a power property as well. This is our next rule, negative exponent property. When a base is raised to a negative exponent, the base will become its reciprocal, raised to an exponent. So a to the negative mth power is going to be equal to 1 over a to the mth power. The negative in front of the exponent tells us to put the value as a reciprocal. If we look at the other way around, if you have a denominator that has a negative exponent, you can take the reciprocal of this expression, where you would have a to the m power over 1. So a negative exponent will flip the fraction regardless of the negative exponents on the numerator or denominator. Here's an example. 5 times x to the negative third power would be 5 times 1 over x to the third power. The exponent is only touching to the base, in this case is x, so only x over 1 will be taken as the reciprocal. We didn't touch or deal with 5 at all. Here's a U-try for you. Here's an example where we will use our properties from the last class and the negative exponent properties today all in one. We are going to do the operations between numbers and numbers and exponents with the same basis. First, let's take care of the numbers here. 4 and 12 can be simplified by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Next, we have the x's. X to the negative 5th power. And then when we divide the exponents with the same basis, we could subtract them. I could do this. Minus negative 2. Also, I can do the same thing for y. Y to the 3rd power and subtract a negative 7 from it. If you guys remember, when we had y to the 4th power over y to the 2nd power, we could write y to the 4 minus 2, which is equal to y to the 2nd power. That was our division rule. Now I apply the same rule in here just so that I can get x to the negative 5 plus 2 times y to the 3 plus 7 over 3, which would be equal to x to the negative 3 times y to the 10th power over 3. Now, it looks like we are done working with the expressions, but we don't want to leave a negative exponent, so we are going to take the reciprocal of that part only. And in here, we have the negative exponent, so we will rewrite this as y to the 10th power over 3x to the 3rd power. As you can see, x to the negative 3 just moved to the denominator and we got rid of the negative. Here is your U-try. Apply your power to power property on the top and apply your power to power property on the bottom. Then do the necessary simplifications. That's pretty much it. In the class, we will work on examples that includes and involves all of the properties we have covered so far.